Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about how much money can you make as a life coach. This is interesting because a lot of people ask this question and wonder if it's worth it or not, or should they do it, and what kind of money can you make. So I'm going to start by I'm going to pre-frame. I'm going to share with you a couple of statistics, right? To be really completely honest with you up front, right? Because I want to tell you the truth. I want to serve you. I don't want to, sugarcoat things and try to sell you sell you the world and give you an atlas. I want to tell you the truth, right? Now, you can make great money as a coach. Does everybody? No, right? Now, you have to look at why. So I'm going to share with you some statistics, and these are some statistics that are business statistics and related to coaching, right? And they're based on the average person, right? But we don't want to be average, but I'm just going to share with you what average people do first, right? The average life coach makes about $30,000 a year, right? Now, that's the average. Now, on top of this, in year one, right, 50% of businesses, right, finish up. So 50% of all coaching businesses, they terminate, they finish, they're done in year one, right? By year five, right, it actually works up to be about 80% of coaching businesses that are finished, right? Getting a bit worse now. And then by year 10, 96% of coaching businesses have actually finished up or they're done, right? Now, this is not very motivating statistics. I understand that, right? But I'm telling this up front because there's a science to, failure, or there's a science to not succeeding, and then there's a science to success. So we want to just think the way successful people think, right? So I don't want to be one of those statistics. I want to be one of the 4% that's still standing after year 10. And even if you beyond that, did you know that actually that for a business that does get to $1 million, it takes on average 10 years to do that, right? It took us 3, right? But I can show you how to do it in a much shorter period of time. So we want to think successfully. So what I recommend that you do to make great money as a coach is get really good at your craft. Get extraordinary at your craft at coaching people. That means I want you to understand why people do what they do at a very deep level. You've got to be able to read people. You've got to know what their patterns are. You've got to understand why people do what they do at a deep level. And I recommend doing we have coaching courses that teach that, or you could do it anywhere, right? But you've really got to understand people's patterns, right? And also what makes you really great at your craft is being a master at creating change. Now, I have a lot of ways to create change with people, and there's a lot of patterns and behaviors I can change. Like, I know how to get rid of a phobia, of snakes or spiders or lifts or whatever. I've done this. I know how to get rid of anxiety. I know how to get rid of depression. I know how to get rid of even more serious things where people, depression is extremely serious. On top of that, I've worked with people that had schizophrenia, bipolar, these types of things. I work with people that had ADD, ADHD, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, weight loss. I've seen a lot, right? But I have a lot of tools to create change. We train people in how to do that, right? But if you are really good at helping people to remove their unwanted emotional patterns and their unwanted behaviors, if you get really good at that and you can do it in a really short period of time, the faster you can do that and the greater the change you can create, the more valuable you are as a coach. So we've got to master your craft, right? So that's what we want to be able to do. The second thing is we've got to make great sales, right? You've got to be great at selling. We really want to be mastering sales, because no matter how good you are at coaching, if you can't sell it, it's just going to stay on the shelf. So I invested a lot of time every day into sales. So you should watch our other videos on that. We've got plenty of videos on sales. We want to be able to do that. Now, to make the money as a life coach, to make the money you want as a life coach, let's say you wanted to make $8,000 a month, right? Some people just want to start with that. I think it's great. So if I wanted to do that, I would maybe charge, let's say I had a 6-week coaching program and it was $2,000. I've got to sign 4 of them up a month. That's one a week, right? One a week. There I'm at $8K. I'm at 8K a month now, which is pretty cool, right? Now, if I wanted to, make 100 grand a year as a life coach, right? I've pretty much got to make, let's just say it's about 8,700, close to, about that, or 9,000. It's about $8,700, $9,000 a month is what I need to be earning, right? If I want to make 100 grand a year. So that's why you've got to be consistent, making around that 9K a month mark. So you reverse engineer that. That's what you've got to do. So you think of how much is your coaching program worth? How many of them a month have I got to sell, right? And then I ask myself, how many strategy calls or sales calls do I have to do a month, right? Let's just say if I closed 4, 1 out of every 4, worst case scenario, right? Then I would go, okay, 4 calls equals 1 sale, right? And so then I've got to make 4 sales, so, a month. So that would be, 4 4s are 16, so I need 16 sales calls a month. If I had something that was like 2,200, then that gives me about 9K a month. So I've got to do about 16 sales calls a month. I'm going to close a minimum of 4 of those at 2,200 or 2,300. That gives me about 9K a month. There's 100 grand a year. Amazing job. If I wanted to make $1 million a year, then I've actually got to be earning probably about $88,000 a month, right? Which is quite a lot. So you have to reverse engineer that. How much is your coaching program worth? How many of those a month do you have to sell? Times the number of sales by 4, which is the number of strategy calls or sales calls you'll have to take if you sell people at a 1 out of 4 closing ratio. And that's how you would do $1 million a year, right? So that's gives some frame around it, and I want you to know the 3 main ways to grow your business to help you make the money you want, right? There's only 3 main ways to grow a business, and I learned this of a guy named Jay Abraham. He's an incredible guy. He's a very successful business consultant. So the first thing is you can increase the number of clients, right, that you serve. More clients equals more money. The second way you can make more money as a life coach is you can increase what you charge more money, right? And the third way that you can increase the money that you make is increase the number of referrals or increase the number of times that somebody buys. So they buy more times the same thing or different products, right? Or they give you more referrals. But my goal is for each person that you sell, it would be great if that leads to a referral for you as well. Alright, so that's how much you can make as a life coach. You don't want to be average, you want to be in the top percent, right? To get to that 100K a year or more, or $1 million a year is extraordinary. But they're all the ways that we would do it, and I hope that serves you and really helps you. Please share in your stories, write some comments below in the bottom of the YouTube video as well. Love to hear what you think, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.